I want to introduce Anna Kochineva, my co-host. She is a co-founder and the director of Childhood Keeper, which is our friend organization in Russia. We created Childhood Keepers about 5 years ago already. And we've been, Kidsave has been working in Russia for about 20 years. We started in '99, and we were working with mostly orphan kids. Our task, our main goal was placing orphaned and abandoned children into the families. We used host family model, and how we started corporate mentoring program. To be brief, in 2008, in the midst of global economic crisis, I was remotely managing our Russian office, and in addition to overall management and development of our mentoring and family placement programs, I had to do fundraising just to survive. And at this point, I've focused my efforts on working with their big corporations because our private donors left the country. So I was meeting companies like Boeing, Deloitte, Mary Kay, Deutsche Bank, etc., and meeting with these people for fundraising purposes. I was just admiring all these highly educated, very successful people, and just was dreaming. So our children in the orphanages and boarding schools would have mentors like these people who can really share their time and knowledge, experience with these kids who basically don't have a positive role models. So we started talking about maybe that your company can give not only financial support to our programs, but the biggest gift to these children will be your time and your knowledge. And we started with we already had organic matching for families and kids or youth. So we just started having events with the companies and children in our orphanages, so they could meet in a very informal environment. And it was all kinds of events like picnic or some sports game where people from corporations, employees, and top management could see and meet these children in very natural environment. So today I will briefly talk about story and principles of the program, and Anya will share with you outcomes and some of the barriers, especially now in the pandemic situation, all the challenges we have to overcome, and also some success stories. Speaking about Ukraine, probably a lot of them who know Eastern European countries know that we have orphanage system and state care. Unlike in United States, where kids live in foster families and sometimes in group homes, but it's still very, very different from situation in countries like Russia and Ukraine. Anya will give you the numbers for Russia, but in Ukraine right now, there are over 100,000 children living in institutions. Only 6% of these kids are biological orphans. The rest of them have families, and nevertheless, children still living in institutions in a very, very limited environment. They don't even go to outside school. They have classes in their orphanages or boarding schools. So they do have a few people they know and they communicate with each other, but not outside of orphanages. And at the same time, about 10,000 of them annually leave the state care, and they're supposed to start independent life, but they don't have any essential life skills. They don't know things which we take for granted. They don't know how to go and buy food or how to manage money. They never seen money. They can't cook. They basically can't live independently. So only 1 in 10 kids gets a higher education. The rest of them, usually as soon as they leave orphanage, they go to technical school, and most of them don't really have a choice. They can become, end up working in a factory, doing some simple, basic sewing works, or driving, for boys, it is like driving trucks. So we call these kids the generation of risk, and our programs build a bridge from generation of risk to generation of opportunity. I wanted to show you the video.
Для мене наставник – це старший друг. Віра, успіх.
Досвід.
Motivation.
Дружба.
Advice.
Можливості.
Protection.
Довір'я.
Підтримка.
Допомога.
Надіжда.
Наставники – це круто! Нам всім потрібні наставники!
Today, 100,000 Ukrainian children live in orphanages and grow up in the limited social environment. At the age of 18, they emancipate from the system and have to begin an adult life, being completely unprepared to it. Without the support of a family, they lack basic life skills, education, and have very limited employment opportunities. Their chances for success are low, so they become the generation of risk and a target for criminal groups. The corporate mentoring gives our kids the path to success.
We give them life skills, workforce readiness,
emotional literacy,
independence, internships and jobs, the courage to dream,
Self-confidence and hope. The strength to win.
unlock their capacities. We take lessons from them and start to see the world through their resilient eyes.
In these pandemic times, we found new ways to appreciate and to be inspired by our kids. We just held our first online trophy marathon where more than 500 children logged on to hear from famous Ukrainians, TV presenters, singers, bloggers, actors, sportsmen, businessmen and others. They shared their experience and knowledge and answered children's questions about choosing a job, living independently and achieving their goals. Through the power of significant connections to successful mentors, all together we are building a bridge from generation of risk to generation of opportunity. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you.
Yes?
Julie is asking, do they receive money at the age of 18 like in Russia?
They have a very low, usually they have a stipend because they are going to the technical boarding school. They receive a small stipend, but that's pretty much it. And this is why, that's one of the reasons why we are doing these corporate mentoring programs, and we are trying to find a work environment for them, and we will be talking about that later. But Anya can talk about Russia as well, but no, they have very low allowance, only if they are in the technical school or if they get a job. Okay, so our main purpose of this program is actually introduce children to the business environment. And so we are trying to engage. We think that innovation of our program is because we're trying to build long-term relationship with business, different businesses and corporations. We basically create a program for each business, and we give them what we call portfolio of opportunities. We tell them what kind of roles they can play, and then we sign an agreement for at least 1 year, the 1 year commitment. This agreement has the very detailed program or protocol of what kind of events or activities we will have during the school year. Usually our program cycle is September through May. This is the core of the program, while during these months, kids have opportunities to meet people from various companies. We usually have monthly or bi-weekly events where potential mentors and mentors from corporations meet with kids. And here we try to engage a lot of employees. We usually call them initiative group, and employees can become individual mentors, volunteers. They can provide coaching on various technical skills or soft skills. And for those who are not ready to commit their time on a regular basis, we say that you can still be volunteers and help us participating in some events or doing some volunteering activities with the children or youth. And on the other hand, the whole brand, entire company brand, becomes a corporate mentor as well, and provides on-site visit where kids can go to different departments of the company and be introduced to various professions. They can try on any professions they want. They can have a shadow day. Many companies provide vocational trainings, internship, and part or full-time job at the end of the program. Usually summer months, June, July, August, these are the months then children can have internship or part-time jobs. And we can see that this is absolute win-win situation because both youth and business get benefits. A lot of our mentors or people who just start as a coach or volunteer become mentor for a child. I remember first of our successes was then 16-year-old boy in Russia, actually. This is where we started the program. After a few visits to Deutsche Bank, he decided that he really wanted to learn about banking business. And he had a internship during summer months in Deutsche Bank. And for child from orphanage, it was something absolutely unspeakable. Because he was in this business environment for 2 months, most of people were speaking English, and he realized that he needs to learn English. So the head of the department in Deutsche Bank became his individual mentor, and their relationship continued after the internship was over. Next year, they kept their mentoring relationship, and next summer, he actually came to the company and started to work there, and that was a huge success for us. And now when we start working with new business, for example, in Ukraine last week, we just signed an agreement with Hyatt Regency Hotel, and Hyatt said that within this school year, we will have monthly events where kids can learn all kinds of different professions in the hospitality business. And next summer, they're ready to invite 10 children to work in Hyatt. And for those of them who are most motivated, they even will be able to work overseas for couple 3 months. Well, I have to say that Ukraine is, I don't like to say behind Russia, but we just started the program in Ukraine a couple years ago. Kidsave helped to register association, we call it Ukrainian Mentoring Association, and introduced corporate mentoring, individual mentoring programs, and also program for young mothers and host families. So we started to work with the business, and business is not highly engaged in any kind of volunteering activities there in Ukraine yet. Yeah. But this is why we are going and telling them about all kinds of opportunities, about situation in Russia. We also try to engage well-known people, some celebrities, etc. On the board of our association, we have Ombudsman for Children's Rights in Ukraine, Nikolai Kuleva, who is working closely with the president and trying to engage government into these mentoring programs. But overall reaction of business when we start communicating with them, we see a lot of interest. The biggest problem now is money, because in this pandemic situation, everybody says, unfortunately, we do not have much funds to invest into the program, but we are ready to invite kids to our companies and provide them with professional orientation. A lot of employees want to become advocates and also talk and share about their own professional experience. So we see very, very positive feedback. And right now we have at least 5 new businesses who we are developing relationship right now with. And among them are some international corporations who you already know, such as Hyatt, Citibank, PepsiCo, 3M. But there are also some Ukrainian corporations like Zamler, which is a big transportation company who is ready to also take our kids to internship and provide jobs to them. Another big company is Winners Group, which is a car distribution company. So we have very good feedback.
Would it be okay if I ask one more question on this?
Please go ahead.
I just don't want to make the rest of the audience upset. Otherwise, Lila and Julia and the others have to put in the chat that I should just shut up. But I wanted to say, Tatiana, what is your strategy in stepping to companies? I mean, there are loads of companies in Ukraine. How do you know on which level do you get in? What is your first step to get into the companies? Do you make up a letter and you send it? I'm just a very hands-on question. I'm just curious, when you start and there you are, the corporates of a country, on which level do you start calling the CEOs, or what is the step you take?
Yeah, you know, it's very hard to call CEO as the first contact, but we are trying if we can. You know, we are using our international experience because Kidsave has been working with many corporations in the US for 20 years. So we use some of the contacts we already have in the US. We also, when I started to work in Russia, we joined such international organization as US-Russia Business Council, American Chamber of Commerce, and becoming part of this organization, we had an access to top management of these business companies. This is how we did initial contacts. And then we just developed the relationship. We did market research, what companies are doing well in these particular countries. It started with Russia. Now we apply the same approach in Ukraine. Like in Ukraine, we've met with American Chamber of Commerce in Ukraine. We organized the presentation. We made a business breakfast for members of American Chamber of Commerce, and we told them about the situation with orphanages in Ukraine, what we can do together, how they can participate, and then we just set up individual meetings. We'll also do a lot of research again online, seeing what corporations work in country, and then we just use every possible mean, you know, writing letters. We also have one-pagers about each of our programs. We usually attach this information to our letter of introduction, and then we just keep calling and being persistent and trying to organize live meeting, or now we all switch to Zoom meetings. And yeah, some of the relationship, like for example with 3M in Ukraine or Winner Group, it's all been in this online format. I will switch to Anna, and Anya will Tell us more about programs in Russia.
I may add about situation in Russia. We have the same approach as Tatiana said, but working for some years in this field and having social advertising throughout the cities and getting more and more reputation on this field, we have the situation when companies are calling us and asking how can they help and how can they participate in the program, and it is a brilliant result, I think.
But I have to add that Anna is talking about Russia, where we've already been working with this program for 10 years. And actually, Childhood Keepers organization that does corporate mentoring now got presidential award, right? Anna, your organization is among 20 best mentoring organizations in the country, and it's a huge country. So you have support of Presidential Fund and Agency of Strategic Development. So now this program became a model, and it's recommended to other regions.
I would add to what Tatiana said that we are trying to see the problem in a complex. So we don't, the problem is not about only the youth that are in risk. The problem, on the other side, you may see that more than 80% of employees are in lack of staff. And it is mainly about lower and middle staff. And more than half of adults are not satisfied with their jobs. So we're trying to improve not only the statement of this youth at risk, but we're trying to commit to the solution of the problem in a whole. Next slide, please. Mm-hmm. This is a project roadmap. Tatiana already said you about the project cycle, and it's pretty the same. I would add that this is a school year part of the project. We have a lot of preparation, motivational meetings, company tours, master classes, etc., which are provided by our companies, but our corporate partners. And this work is about to, the aim of this work is to prepare our kids for summer internships. They are getting motivated, they are getting soft skills and some hard skills just to be more successful during their internships. The internships are the key part of all the program. We do it during the summer from 1 to 2 months for every student, for every member of the program. All the internships are supported by mentor, but also each pair of mentor and mentee is supported by our coordinator, which is very important that we, it's not only the responsibility of the company. So here is your boy or your girl, do it what you want. We are trying to support both of them. Just everyone is satisfied with the process and the result. And key outcomes. We started in 2015, we started with a small group of 30 youth in Moscow. Today in 2020, we have about 2,000 youth in 12 regions of Russia. And you were asking about the numbers. So now we have, you may see that about 35% of our youth participants of the program get a permanent job after 3-5 years in program. So the first slide was talking that only 1 out of 10 youth at risk are getting job and adapt to the society. Those young people who participate in our program, you may see that 3 out of 10 are getting successful. And I would also tell you something about our partnership with some companies. Here you may see a megaphone. This is one of big 3 telecommunication companies in Russia. We are working with them since 2018, and they provide financial support to our program in all 12 regions. We organize, together with them, we organize company tours, workshops, motivational trainings for youth. During the global lockdown, we were organizing webinars and motivational online meetings with Megaphone, with different professions, and many of them were employees of Megaphone company. And there were some internships in the office of the company in different cities, and in the call centers also in different cities. Next one. And our big partner in different regions of Russia is IKEA company. I should say that this company is unique because they are just one of a few companies who welcomes young people with mental disability to the internships within the company. And this summer, a group of 4 young people get their internship, young people with mental disabilities get their internship during, in the company, in the office of the company. And we have, for this moment, just one very good story, success story of this boy you may see on the picture, who get his permanent employment within the company. And this group of 4 young people who had internship this summer, they are preparing now to get the permanent contract with the company. This is during this big period of time when we have a preparational stage. In parallel with that, we are we're training mentors, future mentors who are employees of the company. So they become mentors during the internships, during the summer. And during the school year, we prepare these employees to become mentors. We have special trainings, online and offline. And then we are helping our coordinators support every pair of mentor and mentee. And Tatiana wanted to add.
Yeah, I wanted to add, this is why, Sylvia, we call it corporate mentoring. We consider the whole company to be a mentor. You know, so all these activities is a part of the, like if we would have individual mentor who spends some time with a child, here we have the whole company spending some time with a group of children as well. And this is part of their, you know, scope as a mentor to provide all these activities, to show them all kinds of professions and doing join events, training them on some professional skills, etc. So, and at the same time, yes, we also recruit individual mentors to the kids from their, I'm sorry, from employees of the company.
Yeah. How difficult is to motivate them?
Correct.
Engage them. For the very first time, it is difficult. Yes, it is very difficult because they do not trust everyone. They are so skeptical. They are so lazy. Sometimes they are always in the iPad or whatever, and social networks. So it's very difficult on the first stage. But when they see the result, when they see the success stories of other kids, when they see that these adults, these people we are trying to show them people who really love their job, who are really engaged, who are really know why they are going there, visiting their companies, their offices every day. And it motivates, it engages young people to participate. You know, every summer, every May, let's say, we have this the same situation. All about half of our young people say who we arranged everything for their internships, and they say in May, oh, maybe I will not participate. I decided to have a rest. I decided to visit my friend, whatever. Then, yeah, we need to push them just one time. We need to say, you should go there. You should try just 1 week. You should try. Then you can go everywhere and do whatever you want. After 1 week, they say, okay, may I have 1 more week, please? May I have 2 more weeks, please? So, you know, you just need to push it in a very concrete moment, and they will ask for more and more because
Julie,
they see the result.
I also wanted to add to this. In Ukraine, it also depends on the group of kids we're working with, because if these are the kids in institutions and we have very good relationship as a part of our partnership, good relationship with institutions, so they're all together there, and when we have introductory meetings and tell them about programs and introduce them to some very successful people or people they probably seen on TV, etc., they get engaged. The biggest problem, I would say, with the discipline, when the fun transforms into the work or academic environment, this is where we have to make sure that they visit all these, they do site visits, and when they start their internship or work, this is where we need to help them. But this is why we have support. Our coordinators, program coordinators, provide a lot of support. And this is integral part of this project. Because otherwise, if we just leave child with the mentor or the company without support, it will die.
It depends on many, many aspects. Legal, you know, sometimes it is free of charge, sometimes it is paid for, yeah.
It depends on the company, I would say. It depends on the business. A lot of food companies, you know, like cafes and restaurants, we always try to negotiate with the employer to provide a paid internship or paid job for these kids, so they would start to learn about, you know, making money and budgeting, etc. Sometimes, depending on the age of their youth, it's not allowed to pay them if they are under 18. But again, we work with legal companies and we try to find the ways to compensate them. So we do our best to have them compensated.
In Russia, it is legal to pay after 14 years old, but we have a lot of legal barriers for children who are in institutional care. So it's not easy to get a job contract, let's say. An internship contract is much more easy for us, for company, and for the kids. Can you please, Tatiana, 1 slide back?
Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to say some words about this partnership with it is Retrading Holding, Polish holding. And I would just add about another fundraising instrument. We have a campaign with them right now, which is going right now. And the company will donate 50% of limited collection of t-shirts sale to the corporate mentoring program. And right now, if you can see, I am in this t-shirt of this campaign. And the interesting thing that, as I said already, this company called us by themselves. So we had just a phone call. Hello, Child Keepers Foundation. We want to have a partnership with you, because they saw our website, they saw the social advertisement in the city, and they decided to call. What is very good for our fundraising team. $2,000 kids in total since 2015, not matches, but kids who are participating in the program. Not all of them are getting jobs, summer job, mentors, etc. Only 1/3 of them are getting internships. So 2,000 kids are participating. Yeah, in 12 regions. Russia is very big. Yeah, first of all, they visit schools, they visit colleges together with other students. As for special internships in the colleges or institutions, it depends. Sometimes, and in most of the cases, it is too formal. They just visit the company and they said, here we have a campaign, here we have a shelf, here we have a professional. Hello guys, let's see you in 2 weeks. I will sign a paper that you got your internship. In most of the cases, it's like that, unfortunately.
I understand.
Yes, yeah, I would say it is. The situation is changing very fast, and the corporate social responsibility becomes popular because a trend for most of the companies, not only international companies in Russia, but also for Russian companies, as you saw, Megaphone or other Russian big and middle and small companies. It becomes not so formal as it was some years ago. They are looking for really not only for PR, but also for some results, some outcomes and inputs, and they are really caring about that. And they are looking for CSR as a system, not just a volunteer action or something like that. Not a series of actions, but a system. What is very, very good.
And I can add, Julie, that in Ukraine, I was very pleased to see how businesses get engaged now. I would say that with the change in the generation, as young people come to all these big companies, corporations, the volunteering and social services become very trendy. In Ukraine, we have a lot of young people like 24 years old who want to become mentors, who want to, even in their companies, they kind of like all these activities as team building, because we noticed that, people might not know each other in different departments, like Citibank. When we started to talk to them, and we always try to work with the top management and say, please support us, please invite your employees, we can come during lunchtime or at the end of the day, just having coffee, and we will tell you about our program. And the more people get together, our next step is always to have an event, some kind of an event in informal environment where they can meet these people. And this is where all these stereotypes just melt away. And after that, they employees want to see the kids, they want to meet, they want to engage. So I would say that in the last few years, I see a huge shift in companies, and they, even new companies in Ukraine, they now, most of them start to build the CSR departments, though before that it could be HR or PR or whomever. Now they do like to have structured social corporate responsibility. Plus it helps to engage celebrities. Like in our video, by the way, I put in our chat the links to both videos. In our video about Ukraine, the woman who presents, she's ambassador for mentoring programs in Ukraine, how she likes to call herself, but she's ex-Miss Ukraine. She became Miss Ukraine in 2017, and now she wants to become a PR and face of the mentoring. The other young woman at the very end of the video, she is a press secretary of Ukrainian president. And she is a personal mentor to one of the girls in our program. Her story with Masha, 17-year-old girl, is a little bit there as well. But having these people to do public speaking in support of mentoring program and asking for business support and engagement helps a lot as well. So we're trying to engage more and more young, successful people and celebrities into these programs.
That's great.
Absolutely. You know, these are the basic elements of our mentoring programs. We prepare the kids first, and we make sure that they want to participate in our program. We don't push any of them. We just have regular meetings with them, explaining the benefits of the program and also what kind of commitments they will have to undertake. We also have a constant trainings for the mentors themselves. We have orientation session first in any company we work with, and we also have regular orientation sessions like every first Thursday of the month, for example, and we do it in online via Zoom now. So we explain people about the program. Then we have some of the events there when they meet. If we have matches, we see that the kid like this particular person and the person like them, then we have strategic events where they can learn more about each other, and then we will have follow-up training for the mentors.
I understand.
We explain mentors about all the specifics of these children, what you can ask, what you cannot, absolutely not, etc. And then we provide support in their relationship. We keep, you know, monitoring it. We have mentoring clubs where mentors get together and talk about what kind of success stories they have, what kind of problems they have. So we do all like wraparound services for both kids and mentors, and also we update the companies as well. If some of these, like for example in Russia, we had amazing synergy with Mary Kay. We had a program for young mothers where we had 24 young mothers with their babies, and we tried to find mentors to all of these young mothers. So Mary Kay consultants became amazing mentors for these girls because they had so much free time and experience and they wanted to share. And in 2017, we have 100% mentor-mentee connections. All 24 girls had mentors, and most of them were from Mary Kay. So it's
incredible.
When you find this synergy, you know, it just works so well.
For us, we are very small, really. We have 7 employees in Moscow, including accountant manager, and 1 regional coordinator for each of 12 regions.
Wow. Wow.
And we have even less in Ukraine. You know, we just created this association. So right now we have 4 people working in Kiev, and I work from here, and I'm with them again, almost 24/7 online. But we hope to grow, and this is why we share our experiences with a lot of NGOs within the country. What Anna is doing is that, you know, she's training people from partner organizations, non-profit organizations in Russia, in each region where we work. The same in Ukraine. Last year, I had a training on corporate mentoring for almost 30 people from 17 different organizations. And we just share our models, our algorithms, and we say, please start it, we will support you. I know that this program already works in Lviv, in Kherson, and we stay in touch with all these nonprofits, and we just, do again online sessions and exchange our experience if we have something new. We also try to connect them to the businesses in their region. Like if we know that there is one of these companies, like PepsiCo, for example, has a huge plant in Nikolaev. So we introduced our nonprofit partners to this corporate partner, and they now have relationship as well.
That's great.
We have very few people. When we started this program, I remember it was 12 years ago in 2008 when I started to talk to businesses and say that, hey guys, we want you to mentor our kids. What I've heard from all these big companies, not so big, but people were saying, oh, come on, we're so busy. We work like 20 hours a day. We don't have time for our own kids. We don't have time to, go somewhere and teach other kids. And we just took some small steps. I think we started from small steps, and the core of our Kidsave program, I work with Kidsave International, and we are based in US. We place kids into families, and our approach is that you have to bring people together, the kids and potential families or potential mentors. And when they get to know each other, this is where connection starts. So we use this approach for business as well. We said, okay, we understand you are very busy. We understand that business is first and you have your own goals, but let's just get together and you meet the kids and see how you can help them. Maybe start with volunteering, or let's have, picnic together. And this is where it happens. When I remember our very first event was when we brought 50 children from a shelter outside Moscow, and we had it in a big hotel background, and we invited employees of Deloitte. So we had about 20 employees with their families and kids. We said, you can bring your kids as well. And we had like animation companies, some playgrounds, some jumping, whatever stuff, and karting, and they just spent 3 hours together where we cooked some food, and we had people from Mary Kay who provided, beauty master class, somebody played guitar, etc. So we had a great time together, and these people from Deloitte said, wow, these are great kids, and even my own child wants to help somehow. So these are small steps. This is how we build relationship with these businesses, and step by step, they got more and more engaged. And as Anya said, now they call us themselves sometimes and say that we want to participate. So it's small steps, it's persistence, and we use every opportunity to make sure that they meet our kids.
Yeah, it's very important. I agree with you. We are trying to keep the contact with all of our participants, but in fact, some of them are going out and saying, no, we do not support anymore. Sometimes they come back after that because this is a Russian specific. We have a very big, Tatiana, пособие, как сказать?
Financial support, whatever, allowance, yeah.
Allowance, yeah. They have a very big, those kids who are orphans. After they graduate college, they may get a very big allowance, and it's really, really very big for regions and for Moscow, and for half of the year for doing nothing. So they start doing nothing, they continue doing nothing, spending these huge amounts of money, and they decide that they do not need anyone. They are adults, they are free, they are independent, everything is fine. After this half of the year, some of them are going back to us and say, okay, I'm ready to go for a walk. It's a very big problem. We are trying to change this system because it's a very demotivational factor for all of those youth.
Write us on email or via chats. We will be happy to stay in touch with you. Thanks again, and have a nice glass of Rioja.
Bye bye.
Thank you.